Have you ever had one of those moments when something is just easier to draw and present visually than to use words? Well, that happens to me all the time, and that's when I open Freeform. It has become my visual thinking, idea sketching, and project mapping app. In Freeform, I'm not boxed into a specific format or organization. I can create and explore first and then organize later, and it packs a ton of power and utility under the hood. Plus, it's deeply integrated across the Apple ecosystem. So today I want to share 3 of my favorite features and a few hacks that I use to power my projects and visualize my workflows. As always, we'll go beyond the basics, but this is not a full-blown tutorial. So let's dive in, shall we? Before we jump into my favorites though, let's take a look at the basics first. When I hear digital whiteboard, I immediately picture one of those dirty whiteboards in some musty-smelling conference room where people draw boxes and arrows and scribble notes that no one can read. Freeform is the opposite of that. I'll describe it as a creative thinking board. The app is clean and intuitive, and because it's relatively new, the controls, the look, and the feel are practically identical across all devices. That makes it easy to jump from Mac to iPad and back without readjusting. I use Mac when I need the control and the precision of the mouse, and then I switch to iPad to add creative touches. And naturally, everything is always synced across all of my devices. But the real magic of Freeform is that it doesn't care what type of information you're bringing in. You can add and manipulate shapes, drag and drop text or images from other apps, like this, or even drag and drop files. I'm actually really impressed with how Freeform handles files. It's one of those little things that, together with other little things, make a massive difference. You just drag files over from Finder and they will be displayed as thumbnails. But if you double click, they will open up, and then you can mark them up right here in Freeform, and when you're done, after that, they will shrink back into their place on the board. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And if you use this in presentations, well, your people will be impressed. More on that in a bit. If you manage projects like me, I bet you already see how hugely useful this can be in one of the most important but also most tedious tasks, and that's gathering and organizing your project artifacts, or building out flowcharts, dependency diagrams, and root cause analysis, practically any visual aid, and then linking your Freeform boards to notes or reminders for that nice one-click access. But keep watching, there's a whole lot more where Freeform can help with projects. Alright, now we have a bunch of things on our board. We can move them around to select everything and shift it all over. This all works as expected, right? Well, no, not good enough. We can do better. My first favorite feature is something nobody talks about, and I understand why. It's the least exciting, boring looking feature, tables. When we hear tables, we think data, formulas, spreadsheets, but in Freeform, tables are rather containers. Here they're used to organize and present all types of content, and this is what makes Freeform unlike anything else. It's no longer a canvas where you just show a bunch of things. It's now a tool that helps you build systems. I use 2 different table constructs. In the first one, I set up multiple cells if I need to arrange my content in a more structured way, like this. Here, each item or group of items have their own cells, and you can set up table cells to expand to accommodate larger items. You can do it here. But when I need less structure and more creative flexibility, I do it in a single cell table, and I think this is where tables really stand out. You can change it here to 1x1 cells. You actually don't have to do it, but just know that Freeform will try to snap your items into cells. And while you can place your items between the cells, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. And this is why I call Freeform tables containers. Just imagine a project board. You have multiple hubs here. You have your notes hub, your screenshots hub, your documents hub, and a million other things you need to collect and track in a project. There is tremendous value in seeing them together instead of jumping from screen to screen. Not to mention that you can link tables with connectors. Everything is now connected and it moves together. And secondly, tables create a visual boundary for the group of items on my board. And since Freeform boards can become pretty big, I can just zoom out to see what's what and where, and then zoom back into the right place. And the third reason why I like tables in Freeform, well, this one takes us right to my next favorite, And that's presentations. If this image looks like a presentation slide, it's because it is. In Freeform, anything you see on the screen can be saved to recall later. It's called scenes. If you have a few of these, well, you've got yourself a presentation. And you can make it more engaging than anything you can do in specialty apps like Keynote or PowerPoint. Whatever your audience is, these presentations can feel very, very different and more creative than traditional decks of slides. It's not just better or easier, which it is, but it's also infinitely smarter. Traditional presentation apps force you to think about slides and sequences before ideas. Freeform lets you build your idea first and then create your presentation afterwards. You don't have to think whether and how everything will fit on the slide. So it's just right, not too busy and not too sparse. In Freeform, it doesn't have to fit. I intentionally create larger scenes that fit the screen, and here's why. I noticed that it creates a hands-on, more engaging, and more interactive atmosphere around my presentation. You can zoom in and out and you can scroll around your scene. Your presentation is no longer static and stiff. And when people ask me to move back, up or down, it means they're tracking, they're paying attention. So to create a scene, first arrange what you want the scene to show on your screen. And then tap on the star icon at the bottom left and then add a scene. Then tap on the list icon. Tap on the 3 dots next to the scene name and rename it. You can drag them up or down to rearrange, and you can also export all your scenes in a PDF, or you can print them. And here's the most important point, and certainly for me, presenting in Freeform saves me an absolutely tremendous amount of time. I'm no longer copying and pasting and making things fit on the slide. I make edits right in my working prototypes, not on the slide deck. And I'm no longer concerned with formatting my slides and making them pretty. I'm presenting my work, not some distilled bullet point list. And if you're like me and you want to cut down on friction and mindless busy work, well, then try this. Let me know what you think. My next favorite is flowcharts. In my day job, my team and I build massive enterprise-scale systems, and workflows are just everywhere. Creating a quick and nice-looking workflow in Freeform is fast and super easy. You can use shapes or images from the menu, or if you can draw, you can create your own. You can add text right inside of a shape, or add sticky notes. And we already talked about how Freeform handles documents. I add them right into the flowcharts. I can connect them to other elements, open them up, review, or edit, and then they will collapse back to where I had them in the flow. And here's the big one. I can bring over tables, my containers, and connect them to other elements in my workflows just the same. And now, the presentations. Imagine how unique that will look, and good luck doing something like this in PowerPoint or Keynote. Anyway, here's how. Click or tap on this icon at the bottom right. It turns the connectors on, and small arrows will appear on the sides of your shapes or images. Just start dragging one of the arrows to connect to another image. You can use the green dot in the middle to arrange the line, or if you tap on the line, you will see options to change thickness and color and the endpoints. And you can also change the curvature shape from square to round. And that's my favorite. It's a small touch, right? But it creates a really nice and different looking flowchart. And they break the mold and draw your audience's eyes to places that you want to emphasize. It's easy, but it makes your product and you stand out from the crowd. Freeform has been solidly part of my daily workflow system for a couple of years now, right next to notes, reminders, and shortcuts. And I think the biggest misconception about Freeform is to think about it as a whiteboard app. And I hope this capable app becomes part of your toolset as well. Let me know in the comments your favorite features and share any tips or ideas how you use Freeform. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you.